Twitch is unhappy with me right now. Stream preview. Nothing, yes, because I don't have anything open. Oh, wrong button. Oh, the stream's not starting soon. It's starting now, but it's suffering. Okay, the game is open. Thank you. I got them from a royalty-free website, and I was like, I must use them. Okay, the problem is now the game is not showing up, even though it's showing up here. Why? Show Necrobarista coward. Could do screen capture instead of window. That's true. Hold on. Here. Mode. Okay. You go away for a second and display capture. No, not that one. And oh no. Now we'll see if the bitrate continues to fail. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just like, what is happening? So there's depth lack of optimization. Let me be lazy and take a screenshot of my ending the stream so I can update it. And then we will finally start the game. Because the current one I have is... What? Where are you? Open up! The current one I have is outdated. Bro, why won't it open? I am suffering. Oh, now the bitrate's going back down. Oh my god. I'm gonna open Task Manager. Oh, wrong button. Where are you? Why is it open? Demon sperm? Why is it open so many times? What is happening? Please. Oh my god. Twitch Studio. Twitch Studio. What is happening? Stop. Just close. Ah, it's not even open. Yes? Oh god. Stop opening, please. It's not even here. What is it doing? I can't end the task because there's too much. Ah! How do I make it stop? Just stop opening! Please! Ah, whatever. Oh, there it is, doing something. My god. Fine, I'll just edit this live on stream. Wow, I really wish I had named this something other than Oig. Why won't it stop? Add image. This is how we add images in this household. That's not right at all. Click all. Delete. Whoa. Spelled tomorrow wrong live on stream. Tomorrow. 7:29. No, not 39. No, what is happening? I still spell tomorrow wrong. Can't remember how to spell tomorrow. Yeah, that's not Twilight Princess. No, I'm dying. Now you're seeing Ohio after Scream. Twitch. Info. Oh. Did it stop opening finally? I should have never tried to open it. Why is Discord open like 5 times? Oh, it's gone. I think we're good. Maybe. Now you're seeing me slowly. I'm gonna wait until everything's caught up and we'll see. No, it's not. I have no idea. I'll have to ask Sophie. I am just a humble bimbo. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, it shows activate windows in the corner. Oh wait, I know how to fix this. am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm waiting for the game to stop loading. I just gotta switch the windows because for some reason it doesn't show up on my second monitor. You go over here. I can't find a key for it, and I don't have $100 to pay for the real copy. Oh. Well, now this game will open in the other screen. Jaunty music playing as I struggle. Actually, I have an idea. No, that won't work. Whatever, we'll just have activate windows in the corner. Because I can't figure out how to get this game on my other monitor. Unless I just drag it over there. Hold on. Oh. That's easy enough. Why am I so dumb? Go to settings and activate windows. Never. Full screen. Flux, you need to stop being on. Disable until sunrise. Capture display 2. Okay. Stop being red. Alright, I think we're finally ready to go. That was an arduous task, but does everything look okay? Sure. Oh. That's not what I wanted. Oh my god, my voice. Remind me later and I might spell out some of my special reserves. Don't enable him, Keyshawn. Hey, someone's gotta drink it all. I know you're not going to touch this stuff aside from setting it on fire. I have perfectly good reasons for wanting to set a pot of distilled soul on fire. Wait, okay. There. Oh! This game, for some reason minimizes every time you click off of it, which is annoying. Oh wait, is the desktop option? Desktop audio is not capturing. Why isn't desktop audio capturing? Unless it is capturing it, it just doesn't say so. It's capturing a little. What if I turn it up? Oh. How's that compared to my voice? I had it fucking muted like an idiot. What is wrong with me? I'm crying. We'll agree to disagree on that one. So, Keyshawn, what'll it be? Actually, I changed my mind on the coffee. Can I order something complex? Gotta treat myself on my last day on Earth. I'm after a sugar rush. If we have the ingredients, shouldn't be an issue. Maddie can whip it up for you. Cool, cool. In that case, can I have a large quadruple shot, double vanilla caramel, no foam, sugar hot, or super hot, reverse, coconut milk macchiato. Oh my god. With 2 sugars and whipped cream on top. How does it sound now? Let me know. I changed the... Whoa. Maddie? Yes, dearest. Can you, well, I don't quite know how. Is this real? Oh, is that too much? I was gonna ask for a splash of bourbon in it, but that seemed a little extra. Well... Yes, it is too much. It is a bad order, and I hate it. How bad? Worst one you've ever seen? No, I just hate it. Dang. Every single word that increased my urge to set the espresso machine on fire so I wouldn't have to think about making coffee ever again. Except the bourbon bit. I put that in my coffee too. So, with all that in mind, I have a counteroffer. Yeah? I'll make you another double shot long black, and I'll put bourbon in it. But I won't call you a hipster this time. If you decline my offer, I will strip your soul from your body and use it to scrub the counters at closing time. They will smell delicious afterward, if that's any consolation. Yikes. That does sound like a competitive counteroffer. Not the soul thing. I'll take the coffee. My generosity knows no bounds. Maddie is so good. Normie. Yeah, I think it's just the art style of the game. Update people that I'm now actually live. Technical difficulties with Necrobarista. Thank you for helping me out, by the way, or I would have just been struggling the whole time. We'll listen to the nice music while I send out my updates. Okay, so, in conclusion, yeah, I think that'd be a good voice. I don't think I can do Pearl's voice, but, Pearl's voice with an Australian accent would be Maddie's voice. That order sucked because it's inordinately complex to make. It has a heart attack worth of sugar in it. and is something that only impatient jerks ask for. Is it possible to die twice? Yep. You can die twice if you're brought back from the dead, or if you manage to really annoy someone between here and the next place, which is more likely because resurrection is illegal. But if you're asking whether you can get a heart attack or whatever, the answer is no. Life and death have a slightly different meaning here. Can't die from natural causes. It's a bit complex and weird, and we're still in the process of figuring out how it all works. I'm over 200 years old, and I still haven't made proper sense of it yet. Just got some vague ideas. Right. So what's keeping me from just staying here? Like, I'm already dead. Why do I have to go to the next place? You've got a certain number of hours you're allowed to remain on the edge of the mortal realm. Hours are fungible. Fungible? They can be bought, sold, and exchanged, generally speaking. But the Council of Death always collects on debts owed to them. And you'll start running up a debt if you stay here too long. Your soul starts to get itchy too. It's not something you want to experience. We've had a few stay past their allotted time, and they've gotten very uncomfortable very fast. It starts with general irritability, and then worse things begin to happen. Oh. The little girl in the blue is called Ashley, and she is a little tech genius. She's just passed out right now because she drank too much caffeine. It's a weird thing to wrap your head around. How long do I have before I need to make myself scarce? You get 24 hours. Any longer, and we start to pick up the tab, since you are on our premises. And, as charming as you are, we've already racked up too much time debt from letting people stick around past their expiry date. And cash-wise, we're extremely poor. We've been a bit too lenient in the past, letting people stay just a little longer instead of gently shooing them onto the next plane of existence, etc. You know the drill. But hey, since hours are fungible, you can always acquire them some other way. There's something happening tonight, actually, that you might be interested in. Seriously? You're still doing that? Shh. You know the council doesn't look on that stuff favorably. Ned said so himself. It draws customers and helps us shave down the debt. I'll take whatever I can get. And hey, fuck Ned. We have a 13-year-old right here, you know. She's heard enough coarse language for a lifetime. I'm not too worried about her. She's right, though. What? Every time Ned comes around, he makes you guys really stressed out. Yeah, thank you. I'll probably, after this stream is over, I'll just go ahead and start moving stuff over to OBS, because the game I was having trouble with, it's not working on anything. It just fucks up no matter where I try to record it, so... Oof. Let me, really quick, this keeps going off the stream. I just want to set the hotkey to mute the mic so I can cough. Start streaming, stop streaming. Where are you? Desktop activity, push mute. Mic, push mute. Apply, okay. Okay, jeez. Maybe not you so much, but Maddie gets nervous and it brings down the mood, man. So, fuck Ned. I think you've had too much coffee today, young lady. I'm crashing so hard right now, you have no idea. It's like I was crashing earlier, but that was just a pre-crash, and I'm having a double crash or something. All I ask is that you try and keep the swearing to a minimum when the customers are around. Yeah, that's true. OBS will at least give me some options. Okay. Does Keyshawn count? It's fine. A couple of my housemates were tradies, so you learn to ignore it pretty quick. Tradies? We're tradies? Alright. Aberitus, why? Don't eat the bags. Ugh. They're still tradies, unless they changed Korea in the last couple days. But they're not my roommates anymore. Because... Hey mates, have I mentioned how much being dead sucks? Because it sucks and I feel extremely bad about it. Having a pretty bad time right now in general, to be honest. Yep. Even just adapting your language is a pain, isn't it? You want a proper drink now? Without coffee in it? Yeah, that'd be good. The TV didn't say anything about there being a storm tonight. Huh. Looks like a decent-sized one's rolling in. Melbourne weather strikes again. I'll go upstairs and close the windows. Cheers. Come on, Ashley. Let's clean up your workbench while we're up there, yeah? Do you need a bribe? Yes. I have some chocolate hidden away. Acceptable. Wait, dead people can still get drunk, yeah? Why else do you think we serve alcohol? To make money? Well, yeah. Hang on. Do I even have my wallet? Doubt it. I don't, yeah. How does that work? Why do I have my clothes, but not the contents of my pockets? I don't know, dude. Everyone's experience is different. That doesn't follow many rules. The only universal rule I can think of is that you can't stay. People don't generally come in without their clothes, fortunately. So, about that drink. I guess you're gonna give me straight vodka or something? What is that? You don't like making complex drinks. Dude, no. I don't like making ridiculous caffeine-laced milkshakes for overcompensating soccer dads. I'm happy to mix a cocktail, within reason. Oh, okay. What do you got then? Shay's got everything you can think of. And then some. I could go for a mint julep. Hey, what's that outside? He's a big boy. Outside? Some guy out in the rain? Ah, shit. Maddie? Maddie, what's up? Let's get started on that drink. Morning. Hi? Hello, recently departed. Hey, that hat you're wearing kind of makes you look like... Ned Kelly? Well, I could have sworn you were standing outside literally a second ago. So, how'd he die? Good morning to you too, Ned. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Madeline. Piss off, Ned. That's not even my full name. Isn't it, Maddie? Shay said it was, and he never lies. He never said that. Well, no. But it was worth a try. A try at what? Catching me off balance? Some shit along those lines? Mate, I am so off balance right now that a light breeze would knock me head over arse. Don't push me. Hey, this mint julep is great. Just wanted to contribute that to the conversation. So, you catch the game last night? Yes. I know that Carlton beat Collingwood again. I don't care. Oof. Just making polite conversation. You should try it sometime. Maybe. Not for you, though. You've never come in during daylight hours before. What do you want? Nothing much. I'd like to talk to Shay at some point, but it can wait, seeing as he's missing. Planning on sending out a search party? Might do. Might be a shame to lose an old friend by letting him wander onto some train tracks or something. Yeah, well. Shut up. He's upstairs, last I saw. What was the last you saw, Maddie? Tell me. Why are you like this? What was it? Last saw him walking upstairs. So he could be anywhere then. Probably fled the country to dodge the massive time debt you lot are racking up. He can't go far. I've got him on a pretty tight leash. In regards to the debt? It's not your problem. You must not have heard. Not your problem. Shay! Your dickhead friend Ned is here! Oi! I'm a distinguished gent. Not a dickhead. I'll be down in a sec. Yes, sure, but you also work for the Council of Death. So even if you are a distinguished gent, it cancels out. Is Council of Death like a normal city council, except for wherever dead people live? Yeah, but the only trash that needs to be collected is right in front of me. This guy? Me? No, you. You're the trash, Ned. The trash is you. It's you. Ned, the trash man from hell. Because councils pick up trash. That's the joke. Oh, cool. He's even got a head shaped like a rubbish bin. It's totally fitting. I'm not from hell. I don't care. And to be clear, Ned, in case we weren't already, you are the trash. Yeah, I get it. You know, how long's Jay going to be? No. He was busy upstairs with Ashley. Yeah, I had to hide like 5 steak knives from her. Well, I didn't even know we had 5 steak knives. A bit quiet there, mate. How long have you been sitting there? Does it matter? Well, your employee is being very rude to me. So if you'd heard any of that, I keep trying to tell him. My employee. Yes, we have some catching up to do. I don't follow. Did she quit? Did you fire her for gross incompetence? Far from it. There's been a bit of a shake-up in the cafe's management structure since you last visited. Oh no. Don't tell me you gave her the whole thing. Okay. I won't tell you. I tried to tell you before, man. Hey, does anyone else like mint juleps? Because this is great and I'm nearly done, but also my tongue is numb, and I'm wondering what the deal is with that. Was there something you want to discuss? I need a drink before we go through with all that. Sure. The usual? Yes, please. How come he gets a curly straw? So, Shay, spin me a tale of how and why you handed down the cafe to this person. Well, every man's got his price. Can my price be a curly straw, too? Buddy, I'll give you 2 if it means you stop complaining about numb lips. Yeah, what did you make this with? I couldn't find half the ingredients, so I put in a bunch of ergatao and chili seeds. It's got the same stuff though, so it's a mint julep and spirit, if nothing else. Does this have any mint or julep in it? At all? It definitely may be lacking mint, and I cannot confirm or deny the existence of the mythical julep. You asked for ergatao earlier though, so here you go. Mission complete. Maddie, I'm getting very drunk very fast. Ergatao does that to you. Here, I think you should have a little lie down. I'll get you some water. I'm as strong as an ox. I don't need to lie down. Keyshawn, my dude, you absolutely need to get horizontal as soon as possible. You can sober up in one of the booths in the back. It's nice and quiet over there. I'll fight ya. No, you won't. You get up, mate. Bloody hell. That would have been helpful if you told me about this before. Probably. I'm not worried about it. Maddie knew what she was getting into with the whole cafe situation. And it's natural that it might take a while for her to get the hang of running a business. Bloody hell. Bit of a dog's dinner though, isn't it? Well, for sure. But it'll get better. Like I said, not worried about it. Well, might want to hold your judgment on that for a moment. I am, unfortunately, here on official business. Oh. I shouldn't have given you the straw then. No, you shouldn't have. I look quite silly. Want me to get rid of it? It's just Maddie. She won't use it to derail our conversation or make me look like a fool or anything like that. Straw? No, I'll get you one after you have a nap. You can sip water like a normal person. I'll put it with the dirty dishes then. Sacrifices I make for this job. Hey, you met me through it, so it can't have been all bad. That was bloody 100 years ago. Man, really? Oops, groceries. Longer. Time flies when you're immortal, huh? Quasi-immortal. The old rust bucket's still got an expiry date somewhere down the line. What's this about immortality? Hey, you should buy more plants. Shut up! Sorry. Continue? Sorry. Immortality? Nothing that I'd trust you with, that's for sure. Aw, you don't want to see crotchety old me being rude to youngsters in 100 years? Truly, I do not. That far down the future doesn't need amateur necromancers. Your loss. So, you two heading upstairs? Actually, Ned does in fact have something fairly important to discuss with you. Oh? It's about the debt you owe. To the council. Yeah, I know. What about it? Maddie, it's time. You owe us over 600 hours. Shay signed a contract. The hours or the cafe. You own the cafe, so you owe the debt. And tonight, I've come to collect. That was kind of intense. Do they do that often? Is that song and dance thing? Yeah, what do they think they are? Some sort of anime street game? What sort of self-obsessed jerk has their own theme song? Don't be a downer, pal. No, I was talking about the dramatic encounter. Oh, between Maddie and Ned? Yes. Yeah, they've got chemistry. Not the romantic kind, the explosive kind. Can't leave them in the same room together, or they'll kill each other. Bad history? Maddie's just a serially troublesome person, from Ned's perspective. Doesn't help that she can't stop herself from pulling pranks on him. No, I suppose not. I mean, he doesn't make it easy either. I don't think he's used to having his authority questioned. She really gets under his skin. Wasn't he a famous criminal? And therein lies the irony of the situation. Wasn't he a famous criminal? Oh no. Game, please. What a strange world we live in. Okay, so now we're back to where we left off last time when Twitch was not recording my game. This game is very pretty, even on medium quality. I like the look of it. So I haven't quite figured out where I'm supposed to go next, but... Oh. So what you didn't see, since I had already done that chapter, is at the end of every chapter, the words that were highlighted in yellow during the story appear at the end, and you get to click on them, whichever words stuck out to you most, and each of the words correlates with a certain thing. So this is guest, this is this is Maddie, not Ashley. And then when you pick the words, you can unlock certain little side stories. The expression on Jack's face was expectant when Maddie came out of the kitchen carrying his plate. Expectant, but not impatient. The expression fit his posture, sitting upright with his hands folded and resting in front of him. Your halibut's ready. Jack's eyebrows raised when Maddie set the plate down in front of him. He closed his eyes and lowered his chin, just a tad, allowing the scent of grilled fish to waft into his nostrils as he drank in the odor. As several moments passed, a smile crawled onto his face, and he grabbed a fork and began cutting the halibut up. He was several mouthfuls in when Maddie spoke up. I thought you said you weren't going to eat it, she said. Couldn't help myself, said Jack. It smelled too good not to give it a taste, and it tasted too good to stop. I couldn't help but notice the hesitation, said Maddie. Jack held up the fork, which had a piece of the fish speared on it. You know, a fish like this, you never know what kind of memories it's going to bring up. Not all memories are good. But this fish, it tastes like adventure. Conquest. Do you fish much? You could say that, said Jack with a grin. I make it out. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Made it out in the water several days each year. Catch any big ones? Lots, I'm sure. But I'm more of a quantity over size kind of person. The most important weight is your tally at the end of the day. I'm not the patient kind of fisherman. Where'd you learn to be so patient, if not from fishing? Fishing's the only time I'm not a patient man, said Jack. Funny, said Maddie. I tend to hear the opposite from a lot of people. I take really long vacations, said Jack. That's when you fish? That's when I don't fish, said Jack. Ah, you're a fish tradesman. Better known as a fisherman, said Jack. But yeah, you could have led with that, you know, said Maddie. Didn't I? Said Jack. Well, like I said, I don't get out on the water very often. And yet it's your profession, said Maddie. I think that would mean more days on the water. Such is life in Alaska, he said. Fishing season gets shorter every year. Of course. Halibut are seasonal. You can only catch them when they migrate. Is that it? It's the kind of business that's only open a few days out of the year thanks to Mother Nature. Thanks to the government, said Jack. In 1970, halibut season was 150 days long. Then it got shortened to 100 days. Do you only work 100 days out of the year? No, ma'am, said Jack. 100-day halibut season was before my time. By the time I found myself down that side of the Pacific, they were down to fishing derbies. Actually, that's what got me out there. Derbies. All the fish you can catch for 24 hours. They're spaced out. Fishing season is just a few days a year now. Can you make a living doing that? You can catch a lot of fish in one day, said Jack. That's why they had to shorten the season. It doesn't take very many different skiffs on the water before you have a problem with overfishing. I was sold on the promise of working for several days out of the year and being able to come back home and live the good life the 360 days out of the year that I didn't have to work. He grinned in a way that suggested he wanted Maddie to prompt further. Did Alaska deliver on that promise? Said Maddie. Is America truly a land where the streets are paved with gold? The streets aren't paved with gold, even though I'm told there's black gold to be found in Alaska. But yes, Alaska did deliver what was promised. I worked several derbies a year, and I made enough to live pretty well. I just skipped the part where I was supposed to come back home. Well, what's the matter? Said Maddie. Didn't want to sail back to Australia? Afraid of getting seasick? No, ma'am, said Jack, apparently missing her joke. You met someone who convinced you to stay. A few someones, said Jack. You spend some time working a skiff with someone? That's the kind of bond you don't find easily, and it's not the kind of thing you give up easily. That kind of bond? Working only a few days out of the year? Said Maddie. It's intense, said Jack. It's like being in the line of duty. It's a little like going to war. War against the fishes? War against the sea, said Jack. When it's all you can catch for 24 hours, you don't have time to be safe. When the day arrives, you're out on the water no matter the weather. And those skiffs are not large boats. For every 1,000 fishermen that go out, 997 come back. Firefighters have better odds than that. Soldiers have better odds than that. So yes, it is a bit like going to war. He looked out at the fish in front of him for a moment. There were some times I could swear I could smell death on the water. And every time you pulled up to shore with a boat full of fish and the same number of men you left with, it was a giant middle finger to death's face. He broke into a grin. In those moments, you never feel more at home. And when you have that kind of experience with someone, you don't fuck off to spend the year in Australia, you know. He tapped his chest. I'm one of them now. Jack looked around, and Maddie realized it was the first moment she'd seen Jack really take notice of the space he was in. His eyes squinted as they scanned the shelves behind her, and the people at the tables around him. But I ended up here. I think I always knew I would be here sooner or later. So that is one of Maddie's guests, another ghost passing through. And billiards I already did, and it was very long, but it was a story about a man playing pool with another pool legend who had passed on. Basically a tale of why you should never meet your idol in short, but I'll leave that for anyone who decides to play themselves. Advisory room. See, we don't have enough for this one. So some memories seem to evade you. You may have to come back to this one later. You're overdue this week, said Ned. He tapped the list of rules that Maddie kept posted by the door. That's 24-hour rule. Are you sure you've been enforcing it? So, let me double check really quick if there's anything else we can do before we go on to the next chapter. I think I've clicked everything. Oh, I guess this is just a story. You're overdue this week, said Ned. He tapped the list of rules that Maddie kept posted by the door. This 24-hour rule. Are you sure you've been enforcing it? I think you saw we run things around here. It's none of your business, said Maddie. Actually, it absolutely is my business, said Ned. In fact, keeping the rules is basically my only business. That's kind of what the word enforcer means. I'm supposed to scold you for breaking the rules. So audit me. Fine, said Ned. Let me check your ledger. We don't keep a ledger, said Maddie. Maybe you should, said Ned. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out voices. There's so many characters. Lots of places do. It's a great system. You have someone stand at the door and have them mark down whenever someone comes in or leaves. Then you forcibly evict people who are overstaying their welcome. I'm amazed you don't have a system like that in place. Some people overstay their welcome. Other people understay it, said Shay. There's no need to strictly keep track of how long people stay, right? Just maintain the balance. You're right, said Ned. All that matters is maintaining the balance. So maintain the balance, because when you don't, then we have a problem. We're a bit short-staffed to have someone acting as a full-time doorman, said Maddie. Figure it out, said Ned. He tapped the board listing the rules. Change 24 hours into 23 hours. When you say 24 hours, people think you just colloquially mean one day, and they don't pay attention to the specific time. When you say 23 hours, people actually have to keep track of what time it is. That would be fine, said Shay, except for the part where you're cutting time off of people's stay. Trust me, said Ned. Anyone who would go right up to the limit is probably going to go over it. 23 hours is going to mean 23 hours plus an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, half hour plus however long it takes to finish their drink. And if they leave in less than 24 hours, who gives a shit? I give a shit, said Shay. You're right, you should give a shit, said Ned. In fact, you should celebrate whenever you manage to scooch someone out of here in under 24 hours, because the balance is upset and you've got to correct it. You can either correct the balance 1 hour at a time, or the council can come here and repossess some souls. Or we can find someone who knows how to manage this property responsibly. He turned to Shay. Come on, buddy. I don't want to have to take this place away from you. That would be quite the escalation, said Maddie. Well, you're already in the first level of escalation, which is a stern talking to, said Ned. Let's try not to escalate it any further. Shay sighed. No, Maddie cut him off. We'll change the rule to 23 hours, okay? Buzz off. Wow, really? Said Ned. Well, okay then. And while you're rewriting the signs, you should also take the green tea frappuccino off the menu. Frap should be for coffee, not tea. Done, said Maddie. Oh, wait, really? Said Ned. Damn, I didn't realize you were so open to feedback. Also, that caramel. We'll take it under advisement, said Maddie, placing a hand on Ned's chest and physically pushing him towards the door. Hold up, said Ned. What are you doing? We're moving in on one, I guess, said Maddie. I need to practice if we're going to start enforcing those rules you care about. Now, said Ned as he continued backpedaling to stay upright. Look, you should just... Bye, said Maddie as Ned crossed the threshold out of the cafe and Maddie shut the door in his face. She turned around, leaning her back against the door, and sighed. Shay raised an eyebrow. You're serious about this rule change? Yeah, said Maddie. I'll change the sign and the menu after we close tonight. Wait, really? The rule change is just to keep him off our back, said Maddie. And the menu thing? I've been meaning to take that off anyway, said Maddie. It's the kind of menu item that attracts the worst sort of people. Well, okay, said Shay. Though I do think we should change the rule back to 24 hours after things have had enough time to balance out. Of course, said Maddie. Wouldn't want to upset the balance too far in the opposite direction. What would we do without all that extra time anyway? Oh, okay. Here we go, chapter 3. So now we can go back down the steps. Day 2, 12 p.m., the terminal. Rise and shine. Don't wanna. You shouldn't waste your last hours on Earth sleeping. Man, I was hoping that I was having a really long, weird dream. Sorry, no such luck. I'm still having trouble getting my head around it. I totally understand. Want a coffee? Yeah, just something simple. Hipster coffee coming right up. What is hipster coffee? What's going on downstairs? I didn't even know you had a downstairs. There's more to this place than meets the eye. Maddie's down there, desperately trying to fix our debt situation. It sounds like she's hosting a cage match or something. Well, not exactly. But she's mentioned wanting to do that. There's some wrestler called the Red Comet that she wouldn't stop talking about for a while. I said the Red Camel. And then, because of that, Ashley got obsessed with wrestling for a bit and kept trying to suplex me. Did she manage to? She's tiny. A couple of times. It was very humiliating. I can imagine. But to properly answer your question, Maddie's running a gambling ring. Downstairs? All by herself? It's a fairly unconventional one. And by unconventional, you mean mortals generally aren't involved. The stakes are higher than usual. Oh. Coffee's ready. Come over and get it. They gamble for time, among other things. You don't sound like you're a huge fan of the idea. I'm not. It's undignified. I mean, as long as Maddie's not in danger, shouldn't it be fine? The council doesn't like it. They turn a blind eye, because we don't cause trouble otherwise. But I'd rather not have to worry about bad things coming our way. Because Maddie refuses to approach the problem from a different angle. And by the problem, you mean the debt, yeah? I was pretty drunk, but I think I remember Maddie storming off after Ned turned up. Yes. I'm a bit worried about her. Wish I could help. You all seem pretty nice. The thought's appreciated. Maddie will figure it out eventually, though. I'm sure. She just needs time. Hey, thanks for the coffee, by the way. I just realized you actually haven't made me pay for a bunch of them. How do you expect to pay for them? Oh, right. Yep, no cash. If I were feeling particularly capricious, I'd ask you to pay in time. But you're a nice kid, and you need every minute you've got. You want to head downstairs? I can see your eyes darting to the stairs. I'm not going down, but I'm also not going to stop you. Yeah, if that's okay. Go on then. I'll stick around up here. Catch you in a bit. Ooh, gambling ring. We're gambling for time, not money. The stairs that led down to the basement were solid and well-worn. The smooth ruts on each step, and a handrail that had been polished to a silky sheen through years of use. Keyshawn had always liked stairwells. People never lingered in them for long, and he'd found them to be a good place to catch a breather. He wasn't obsessed with them. That'd be weird. But he definitely appreciated a nice set of stairs. On further reflection, it was probably a little weird. Downstairs, Maddie's audience clamored for blood. From you to me, with the understanding that your remaining moments on this place are limited, you surrender this time freely, without coercion, as agreed. Contract fulfilled. You're free to go. That's 3 in a row, you bloodthirsty bastards. The crowd cheered. Maddie was clearly an expert at winding them up into a frenzy. Who's next? The room fell dead silent. Come on, isn't anyone here brave enough to challenge me? I thought you all came here to play with knives, you pansies. Seriously? Anyone? Don't hold out on me. Do I need to pick someone out from the crowd then? Is this what we've come to? Maddie's gaze swept the audience. Keyshawn. Good to see you upright. Interested in a game of skill? Me? Yes, you. Oh, sure? Give me some enthusiasm, my man. Sure. What's the game? 5-finger fillet. Some of the people in here just call it the knife game. You heard of it? Oh, finally something I'm good at. Episode 3. Rise and Shine. You've got a lot of knives in this place. Tell me about it. Damn, this thing has a good weight to it. Of course, I wouldn't make you compete with an inferior tool. What? Sorry, I was waiting for you to seg you into calling me an inferior tool. Shit, that was low-hanging fruit, wasn't it? Next time, mate. Again, this game is set in Australia, but I can't do an Australian accent and I don't want to butcher it. Sure. Keyshawn did another experimental slash, and this time it made an audible whoosh. The spectators oohed and awed. But this wasn't for them. He knew that he only had one shot to get accustomed to the blade. You done showing off? Nothing wrong with putting on a little show. Sounds like you're stalling for time. Getting cold feet, perhaps? Psh, not a chance. Let's get started, then. You know what you're wagering? Shane mentioned something about you gambling with time. Ugh, it's a gambling. It's not gambling if it's a game of skill. But that's beside the point. We're both wagering 4 hours. If you win, it comes from the cafe's balance. If I win, it comes from yours. You've got around 16 hours left, in case you weren't keeping track. Shit, only that many? Want a little extra time to play with then? Hell yes. Let's stop wasting it and get this over with. Are you sure you know what you're getting into? Most people are pretty shy about playing with the time they have left, especially when their tank's running as empty as yours. Yep, come on. Unless you're getting cold feet. Hardly. You've got 30 seconds. Smack the timer when you're ready. The crowd cheered, and Keyshawn fed off their enthusiasm. In response, Maddie leaned back and tapped her finger on the table, feigning impatience. He met her eyes, grinned, and continued his performance. The stabbing motions got faster as he went, the point narrowly missing each of his fingers. Stabs, strong enough to drive the knife a millimeter or two into the table, were good if you wanted to put on a show. And of course, giving the spectators the show was part of the fun. You might be going fast enough to put on a show, but you're not going fast enough to win. How'd I do? 16 sets, if I counted correctly. Whoa. I couldn't do 16. That's how many Maddie beat me with. Is she gonna lose? Nah, she's gonna kick his arse. Feeling good about that result? Certainly am. Rightio then. Watch closely. Oh, I will. 16. 1. 3. 7. 11. 15. Told you, she's unbeatable. Is it magic? She could cheat if she wanted to. Definitely not. She's just that good. Poor guy. He didn't know what he was getting into. Sorry, mate. You beat me fair and square. I'm pretty impressed. I aim to please. I'll be taking those hours now if you don't mind. Yeah, sure. How does this work? Just like this. You won't feel a thing. Keyshawn felt a brief tightness in his chest, and for just a moment, the tip of Maddie's finger burned white hot. Ow! Shit! Someone in the crowd laughed. Sorry, I lied. It's done now, though. Alright, does anyone else dare to compete with me? Come on, looking for some actual decent opposition here. I'll take any challenge, even if it's chess or something. Any challenge? I challenge you to get everyone a drink. Rounds on me. I didn't realize you were watching. There wasn't anything happening upstairs, and I got bored. Right. So, you took some hours from Keyshawn, huh? Yes, I did. Do you feel good about that? Shay, do you? I won them fair and square. He didn't know what he was getting into. There's an obvious power imbalance here that you're exploiting. He knew the rules. That doesn't change anything. You let him believe that he'd get some extra time. And, barring a miracle on his part, that absolutely wasn't going to happen. It doesn't matter. It's just passing through. A couple hours won't make any difference. Maddie, I'm disappointed in you. Our patrons respect us. We need to earn that respect by treating them with respect ourselves. This is not respectful or dignified. Cheating vulnerable pass-throughs out of their time? We're above that. We're better than that. I don't care whether you think it's dishonest or not. I want you to give that poor man his time back. Don't pout. This is serious. I feel like a broken record saying this, but while I understand your intentions are good, you can't keep doing these things. It's all for you. If you really want to do this for me, find another way. This isn't worth it, Maddie. It breaks my heart to see you like this, and I know that you're trying your hardest. But this really, truly is not worth sacrificing your own self-respect over. Everyone here respects you. But you gambling with hours just cheapens that. I'll give the hours back. Shame. I was pretty great with the knife. Still not as good as me. Eh, I was pretty close. I like Maddie a lot. Oh, that was kind of a short chapter. Lovelace. Yes. What form did you have before being reborn? I think I was a crab. Come on, I'm being serious. Ashley wouldn't harvest spirit liquid from a crab. You're assuming an awful lot about how squeamish she is. As far as I can remember, I lived above streets, next to the sky. So, a bird then? Wings and feathers and such? No, not that. I do remember flying, though. Oh, were you a sugar glider? Describe. Did you eat insects and tree sap and flower nectar? That is familiar. I wonder how Ashley found you then. Could have been anything, really. You mentioned bright lights earlier. Oof. Yeah, I'm thinking you got hit by a car. That seems likely. Is that bad? I mean, you're here now, so... whether you like it or not. Shut up. I am still adjusting. Like the little robots at the end. They are friends. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. I liked White Hot. Suplex. So this shows you what each of the words are relating to. It's kind of scary though. Ashley's journal. Let's look around and see what we all have here. What? Rotten poppy? Yeah, I'm gonna get that to come up. So, I'm not sure. I think you get a chance to go back to certain things. Let's try Ashley's journal too, because I didn't get the first one. If I have a... Oh, I don't have an Australia. Alpha Charlie Eck. What about Poppy? Rotten Poppy. Nope, don't have enough for that either. Jeez, which one of these will we have enough for? We don't have enough for Beth. We do have a lot of guests. Oh, we do. So we can unlock this story for now. Let's go, little girl. The man standing in front of Beth smirked. The knife he held seemed almost slight compared to the massive hands, but it didn't make it any less intimidating. Finish this one quick, came a call from behind the knife holder. 3 men stood behind him, wearing expressions which ranged from amused to bored. Beth felt her palm getting sweaty and loosened her grip on the knife in her right hand, sliding her thumb along the guard to reassure herself that its shape hadn't changed since the moment she picked it up. Take your friend's advice, Beth said to the man who was menacing her. Finish this quick. After all, I'm just a little girl. Well, as little as any 15-year-old girl could be. Can do, said the man, and he drew his knife up from an overhead swing. For an overhead swing. The man's movement suggested that he didn't really know how to use a knife. Not really. He was swinging the knife like he'd swing a fist. Groceries are finally put away. Hooray! Like he was trying to bludgeon her with it. Like he'd never really used a knife before. He was stupid. Mercifully stupid. She tried to reassure herself of that fact, trying not to lose her resolve. He lunged toward her as he brought the knife down, and Beth raised her left arm. She felt the edge of the knife hit her skin, but the impact of the blow caused the man to lose his grip on the knife. An opening. Beth grabbed the attacker's knife arm, and pulled him toward her, while thrusting her own knife. That was supposed to be thrusting. While thrusting her own knife toward him at chest level. She drove the knife into the man's chest with all the force he could muster, and he fell to the ground and gasped as Beth released her grip on him. The man lay on the ground and put a hand to his chest, moaning. Son of a bitch. You doing okay down there? Said Beth. The man sat up and patted his chest. I didn't expect to lose to a girl. No, said the man. Well, that too, but I didn't expect it to hurt this much. Those rubber practice knives are no joke, said Beth. If I'd stabbed any harder, I might have broken a rib. The man stood up. You got a name, girl? You can call me Beth, she said, extending a hand. He shook it with a look of hesitation. I'm Kyle. I've got to say, Beth, that was kind of a cheap trick. How do you mean? Said Beth. I mean, the way you blocked my knife with your arm? It just bounced right off. You couldn't do that if we were using real knives. He's right, said one of the spectators. Not really a fair fight with rubber knives. I'd like a rematch, said Kyle. Yeah, said one of the spectators. Rematch. The others began chanting along with him. Rematch, rematch, rematch. A voice thundered from above. I thought I told you guys to keep it down. Everyone spun around to face the stairs leading up to the ground floor. Maddie was leaning over the railing of the staircase with a stern look on her face. She tapped a poster on the wall. Beth took a moment to glance at the sign. Fight Club rules. Don't quote Tyler Durden. Seriously, no Tyler Durden quotes. Always assume your opponent is mortal. Practice weapons only. Be considerate to other guests. Keep noise to a reasonable level. We don't have many rules here, said Maddie. Please don't make me kick you out of the basement. Everyone else in the room cast their gaze downward, looking ashamed, with several mumbled apologies. Maddie nodded and climbed back up the stairs, content that she had made her point. Seriously, though, said Kyle. Not really a fair fight without real knives. Beth walked over to the edge of the room and lifted a rug, revealing 2 steak knives. Several whispers erupted from the small crowd. Where'd you get these? Asked Kyle. I swiped them from upstairs, said Beth. They're not exactly combat gear, but these blades are fit to cut through flesh, whether it's a cooked steak or a human arm. Beth held one of the steak knives by the blade, presenting the handle to Kyle. We've already broken one rule tonight. How about breaking another one? I won't get hurt, said Kyle. I mean, I can still feel pain, but, you know, I'm not afraid of getting stabbed. Neither am I, said Beth. But don't say you're ready for this if you're not ready to bleed. She turned the knife over in her hands, pressing her thumb against the tip just enough to draw a single drop of blood. Kyle grinned. Do I look like I would be here if I was afraid to die? So I see Maddie hosts lots of different kinds of events in the basement, including a fight club. So I think billiards too. I guess we can see if we have enough for billiards too. Oh, no, definitely not. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll go to Wanderings. Or Wandering Spirit. Keyshawn's footsteps echoed in a way that startled him. Were his footsteps always so loud? Perhaps it was just a contrast with the surrounding environment, which seemed completely silent, that made his footfalls seem so jarringly loud as he walked along the catwalk. He was on a catwalk. Well, why was he on a catwalk? There seemed to be a gaping space below him, filled with some sort of mist that he couldn't see through. It was fog-like, and yet despite the fog that lapped at his feet, the air felt so dry. The air was thick here. As he breathed heavily, Keyshawn felt an overwhelming, sweet, sickly odor, like the smell of wet or rotting wood. but all he could see around him were steel beams and a concrete path in front of him. Was it rust he was smelling? No, he knew the smell of rust. This was different. The smell was somehow organic, like the smell of a forest after a fresh rainfall. Keyshawn shivered. Far in the distance, he could see what looked like a building of some sorts, so far away that it made the structure he was inside feel almost tunnel-like, as if its only purpose was to convey to him that distant building. He continued walking forward, but as he walked, the building seemed to be growing more and more distant. He quickened his pace, and as he walked faster, he could feel himself moving through the thick, stifling air. Yet as he looked down, he could see the texture of the catwalk in front of him unchanged, as though he were walking in place. Hello, escaped hamster. How are you today? Yes, this is a visual novel. It came out last week, I believe. I tried to stream it, but I wasn't live the whole time, and I didn't realize until after I had finished streaming. So I did replay the first 2 chapters. They should be in my VOD from Saturday, and then I finished up chapter 2 today, and we just finished chapter 3. Oh, you're good. Okay. That's good to hear. Keyshawn started to turn backward, and saw only a blinding light. His eyes immediately shut, and when he opened them, he was again facing into the tunnel, with the distant building at the center of his field of view. He tried turning around, but every time he tried to turn his head, his eyes involuntarily shut at the sight of the light, and he was forced to close his eyes or look away, always confronted again with the sight of the small hut when he opened his eyes. His heart pounded violently inside of his chest. The tunnel was so quiet that he could hear his own heartbeat, hear his own pulse inside of his head. Something about this place felt deeply, incredibly wrong. Get back. I have to get back. He tried turning again, and this time found himself unable to even begin rotating his body before his eyes snapped shut, placing him again in a world of darkness until he opened them again and was confronted with the sight of the small hut in the distance, now looking more far away than ever. I have to get back. Keyshawn kept facing the building and took a step backward. As he placed his foot on the ground, he felt a gust of wind knock him forward. He let out a yelp of terror. Instinctively, his hands reached for the opposite edge of the catwalk, and he fell, trying to steady himself for fear of falling off. The catwalk was wide enough that his body didn't land close enough to the edge for that to have been a risk, and yet as he looked towards the edge, he felt a growing sense of dread that there was something down there that would capture him if he allowed to catch even the smallest hold of him. Almost as he thought it, he felt the sensation of something pressing against his legs. He stumbled to his feet. He ran forward. The head of Hedative seemed to grow no closer as he ran, but he ran all the same, running not to reach a destination, but to be away from whatever it was that was behind him. Moments ago, his only thought was an overwhelming desire to turn back, a worry that he was somehow trapped in here. But now, the worry was replaced with an overwhelming sense of dread that propelled him forward. He had been pushed forward by something. Something was behind him. Keyshawn leaned forward and ran. He was no runner. He often found himself winded when forced to climb more than one flight of stairs, and yet he ran and felt no sense of tiredness holding him back, no need to catch his breath. Maybe it was the thick air here that never allowed him to run out of breath. Maybe it was the fear of whatever it was behind him that was strong. Keyshawn felt the air stinging at his eyes as he ran. By now he was running so fast that the thick air felt like a hot wind on his face. Tears began running down his face, but he couldn't find it in him to raise a hand to wipe his eyes. That would mean slowing his sprint. So he closed his eyes, fully aware that he was running down a catwalk that had no handrail on either side. At this point, he didn't care. He ran and ran. Long after the tears on his face had dried, Keyshawn realized that he could hear only the sound of his own feet as they struck the catwalk. He couldn't even hear the rush of wind, even as it seemed to buffet his face. There were no signs of anyone or anything pursuing him. Perhaps there was no pursuer at all. He allowed himself to open his eyes and look down. He looked over his shoulder. This time, there was no blinding light, only a distant glow, like the light at the end of a long tunnel. In a way, it was the light at the end of a long tunnel. And in observing the dim glow of the distant light, Keyshawn suddenly realized just how far he had run. He turned around and saw the building right in front of him. It had windows that were covered with the same fog that covered the ground around him. Keyshawn reached for the door handle. He half expected it to be locked and felt a moment of panic as the handle bowed under the pressure of his hand. Was he ready to face whatever was on the other side of that door? Did he even want to enter? Did he have a choice? What was it that awaited him inside of this building? Answers or more baffling questions? Keyshawn looked down the tunnel and suddenly felt cold. Whatever this place was, he needed to escape it, and the only form of egress that seemed available to him was the door of the building. He leaned on the handle and felt the door swing open. Ooh, spooky. Cellar, staff only, and the terminal. Looks like we can't go to the cell yet. Oh. Is this, oh. Duh, that's the one we just did. It was just, showing through the doorway for whatever reason. Oh. Judgment 1, Shay's collection. Let's all look around for a second. I did look at the menu last time. They have toast, eggs your way, mussel, French toast, croissant, and avo toast. Oh yes, the old millennial. Steak sandwich, grilled cheese. I put it on medium quality so I can't read the menu as well. Big breakfast, blueberry pancakes. On high quality you can read the menu, but hot chocolate. I don't know about y'all, but I usually prefer, there's this one game everyone kept suggesting me. I usually prefer coffee with just a little bit of creamer and milk, but I don't like it too sweet. I like it to still be bitter. You thought it was the Outer Worlds that people were suggesting you, but it's not on Steam. There's a game called Outer Wilds. They sound very similar. Thinking about, okay, I guess I can't do that one yet. Oh, thinking about alchemy the wrong way. Leamington recipe. Oh, we can't get the recipe. Hot chalky. I prefer white hot chocolate. Yes, I know, white chocolate isn't real chocolate. I don't care, it's tasty. Let me see if I can unlock one of Shay's memories. I think I already clicked on this. Did I? No. But I need an Australia, and I don't have an Australia. This is where it came from. I want to go here in real life. This looks very cozy and nice. This is what I was coming for. Ugh, I need a Ned. I don't have a Ned. I guess I can see. There's Ashley's Journal 1. I'll go ahead and put those there where we can. And then this one yeah, I'm not sure what Outer Wilds is about, but I've heard of that one. Okay. Before I move on to the next chapter, I'm gonna take a quick stretch break. After the frustration of the technical difficulties, I need a really quick stretch break. I will be back in just a moment. Oh, hold on. There we go. Hey, I have returned from my stretch break. Real quick. You can see my desktop. Let me add the stuff that's supposed to be on my screen right now that you can't see because I had to switch. Switch programs I stream with at the very last second. Get off the screen. Why is it so big? Get down there. Bastard. And then... oh, hold on. One more thing to add, and then we'll be good to go. I apologize for this live on-stream editing. Where is the button I'm looking for? There it is. Go down the corner. If you stay there. Alright, that looks okay, I think. And one last thing, sorry, the dashboard on Twitch crashed for some reason, so let me reopen that. And then we'll get back to what I was doing. Okie dokie, thank you for hanging on. We are back now. Alright, let us turn the game. Let me scoot back so you can actually hear me and put a blanket on, and then I'll be ready to go. Hopefully, I will not have as much trouble with this again. Ohio had to help me earlier because this game was not optimized, so when I was trying to run it, it was stuttering extremely badly, so I had to switch over to OBS from Twitch Studio, which I probably should have done anyways, but here we are now. Let's go ahead and get started with Chapter 4. And I think the chat should be on the screen now. Also, Ohio, I have no idea then, I'm sorry, about the game you were looking for. Oh, this looks pretty. Even on medium quality, like I said, this game still looks very nice. Day 2, 5 p.m., outside the terminal. You right? Yeah, I guess. Cool. Mind if I join you? Go for it. Durry? You want a durry? I'm sorry, Durry. Coffin nail. Cigarette. Okay, I was gonna say, what the hell is a durry? Not Australian. Do you want to smoke or nah? Oh, right, of course. Yeah, sure. Sorry, it's been a weird day. This is very aesthetically pleasing to me. Thanks. No worries. Where are you from, then? Heh. You're the first to ask. I live in Collingwood. Oh, yeah? Whereabouts? Smith Street. Bit pricey up there these days, isn't it? Yes, you can tell this man is Australian, and I don't want to butcher the accent. Bet you like your avo toast. Piss off. I've got housemates. Well, nah, I know what you mean. Bit odd. Being dead and all that. Takes some getting used to. People keep saying that, but it doesn't make me feel any better. I understand. Do you? I reckon as much as anyone can, yeah? Right. Hey, what's avo toast actually taste like? Huh? I've never had it. Can't you just go out and eat some? I'm sure Maddie could whip it up if you asked. Avocados are a highly malevolent fruit. Don't trust them one bit. Plus, I've got this whole situation. Oh, that's what the straw was for. You got it. So what does it taste like? I don't know, like avocado and toasted bread. Avocado is kind of cold and mushy, but it's got a good taste. Everyone in chat, what's your opinion on avocados? I like guacamole, but just avocado with a little salt and pepper, I also... it kind of tastes like grass, but it kind of tastes good at the same time. I don't know. I have mixed opinions on avocados. Although I don't tend to buy them since they turn to brown mush in like 0.5 seconds if you breathe at them. I like peas. Definitely better than mushy peas. Lend me a bowl of peas, mate. What, because they're the only thing you can eat through a straw? Watch yourself. Gonna zap me with your Death Council powers? First off, it's the Council of Death, not a Death Council. They're totally different things. Secondly, you really think that's what we do? Walk around shooting lightning out of our fingers? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds a bit silly, yeah? We don't do anything like that. We just keep things running smoothly is all. Harassing cafe owners to settle their time debt isn't something we like to do often. So you just keep the peace? As fucking ironic as that sounds, yep, Ned keeps the peace. Dude. I know. Want another? Sure. I love the sunrises here. They're alright. You watch many sunrises, Ned? Not enough, no. Even semi-immortals need their sleep. I just like to sit here and watch it. Even when it's cloudy or raining, there's just something about watching the sunrise that makes it easier to deal with the coming day. Feeling optimistic all of a sudden? No, I still feel like shit. How about you, Keyshawn? Keyshawn? I don't feel great. I'm still having a lot of trouble, You guys, I'm dead. I've only got a couple hours left before I have to go, and I don't think anyone here properly understands what it's like to see your last sunrise, ever, without any idea what comes next, and that is really fucking terrifying. I'm never gonna see my friends or my boyfriend or my family again. I'm just gonna pass on. I'll never know how they'll remember me or mourn me, or if I'm even gonna be remembered as a good dude who tried his best, or if I'll just be forgotten in a year. That good dude who tried his best couldn't even win a freaking game of five-finger fillet in the basement at a cafe that basically sits on the banks of Styx, as far as I can tell. And God, I can't even tell if that matters. Were the stakes low? High? I can't tell. I'm so disoriented and trying so desperately to feel something, but all I feel is that I'm slipping away with every second. I'm losing myself by degrees, and that's incredibly scary, and I don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, fair cap. I actually came out to apologize for that. The game. Oh, for God's sake, Maddie, have you been gambling again? Can it, Ned? Keyshawn, I shouldn't have taken that time from you. You took it fair and square. I don't feel like I did, so I'm giving it back. Believe me, I'm as surprised as you are. I don't usually do this. What's different this time? That's my business. I can't believe you're still swindling people out of hours to try and fix your debt. Dude, I know. It's bloody undignified, and it's a clear violation of the rules. I will banish you right now, my man. I thought you'd stop pulling that crap once you took the ownership of the cafe from Shay. You really think doing this is going to help you pay this debt? Yes, absolutely. And if you've got any bright ideas on how to do it otherwise, I'm all ears. We should Jeez, excuse me. We should have never granted you and Shay those licenses to practice. You've obviously failed to be responsible with them. You really think that we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have the license, Bushman? Given your history, the hypocrisy on display here is astounding. That's all behind me, and you know it. I've been working on doing some good for the last 100 years. With the council? Really? Yes, you maintain the balance. You know that's important. Sure do. I don't need you moralizing at me from your ivy tower. Give it a rest, guys. But I'm pulling the last day on Earth card. Quit it. I'll be inside. Come find me when you want those hours back, Keyshawn. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about all of this. I've never been to the other side. I was too afraid to leave. Walked the land for decades evading the council. That's a crime they call revenancy. Staying too long, upsetting the balance. But, in lieu of booting me straight to the next place, or some sort of eternal punishment, the council offered me a job. Sorry, that's all stuff you don't care about, I suppose. It's interesting enough. No, I'm just filling up empty air. You should head inside and grab those hours back. Truth be told, I'm not feeling especially fond of Maddie right now. She might have been dishonest with you, but even I can tell she's at the end of her rope. And you might not be able to see it yet, but I think the people in there are fond of you. You think so? Maddie wouldn't have offered the hours back if there wasn't something different about you. Plus, that kid Ashley seems like you, yeah? I guess. She kind of just dragged me off and got me to hold screwdrivers for her. Trust me, she thinks you're great. Go on, go inside and say hi. I've got some business to go stick my nose into anyway. Alright. Catch you in a bit. I've got some questions about the council. Of course, I won't be out for long. Later, mate. Hey. Yo. Do you want those hours back? I guess so. It's only 4 hours. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. If it's okay, I'd prefer that you have them. Ashley's been enjoying having you around. Just Ashley? And me too, I guess. You seem pretty reluctant to admit that, my dude. Don't psychoanalyze me. Sit still for a minute. Alright, lay your hand on mine and place your index finger on my wrist. Is this a part of your ritual or just an excuse to hold hands? Shut up. Thanks. Watch carefully, and no matter what you do, don't move your hand. There's usually a binding spell I use to make sure that doesn't happen, but I've ran out of the reagents required, and you probably don't care about that. True. Alright, yep. I gave this time freely and without coercion. As above, so below, I maintain the balance. Ow. I maintain the balance. That's it. How do you feel? I actually feel better. I feel less itchy. Yeah, we weren't kidding about that yesterday. As you linger, you begin to upset the balance, and as I understand, it doesn't feel good. Right, yeah. Well, why does Ned get to stick around then? Does he just ignore it? The council are a special case. They're more similar to demigods, or demons, than they are to us. That's fascinating. Tell me about it. I'd have joined ages ago, but they're uptight dicks. They don't seem so bad to me. That's because you're not run into any of their ridiculous rules. Bunch of bloody regulations on manipulating life force, and certain standards of the treatment of spirits. Is that why you gave me the hours back? Because Ned realized you broke the rules? No, that was all within the guidelines, despite his blustering. I gave them back because I felt bad. That's all. Oh, neat. So you pity me. I love that. I'm actually really into it. No, dude, it's not like that at all. No, you don't need to clarify. I get it. Seriously. Last day on Earth. Moving on. Fine. Sure. I'm sorry. Sorry. I've got to serve this customer. I'll help. Really? It's probably not a two-person job. Yep. Come on. Ooh, get another customer finally. Day 2, 6 p.m., the terminal. Phew. Anything else that needs doing? Nah, I'm gonna take this tray of glasses into the kitchen. You can go chill for a bit. Or maybe not. I'll take them. You need a break. Sure. Where's the kitchen? That way. You'll find it eventually. Cool. Back in a minute. Your pawns are nothing compared to the raw power of my castles. Nothing. Yeah? What's that this? Or what's this then? Ah! My castle! Brought low by my own hubris. No, it was just a pawn. And maybe a little bit of hubris. Bishop! Knight! Ah! Your other castle, and check. Check, you say? Oh, I didn't think of that. You activated my trap card. Oh, hey, Maddie, come check this out. I kicked him into a false sense of security. Oh man, that's embarrassing. You seriously let her outmaneuver you that hard? Yes, I'm very ashamed. I suppose the real hubris was inside me all along. I friggin' love winning. I should try doing this more often. A chance win at chess. Could grow into a big winning streak, you know? You want to play something with us? I should really head back down to the bar. There's nobody there. Come on, take a load off. If anyone really needs you, they'll know where to find you. How about I grab us all a drink, make sure there's nobody waiting down there, and then we play something. Won't be 5 minutes. You actually gonna come back this time? You never come back. I'll come back. Promise. Why don't you pick out a game while I'm gone? Let's find something, Ashley. What do you feel like playing today? Something... Something with lots of dice. Dice it is. We'll see you in a minute, Maddie. Day 2, 6:15 p.m., Ashley's workshop. And that's why the 4th season of Row Battle Royale was an absolute betrayal. But you still want to be on it one day? Well, yeah. Unless an indie circuit opens up. Like in wrestling? Exactly like in wrestling. Melbourne's got a local show. I want something like that. You could probably put your own local league together if you worked really hard. Perhaps you could build the robots and get people to battle them? Human-controlled bots are boring, though. I want to get more of that spirit juice and put together a bigger Ashling. How big? I think I'll start a car size, then move to more of a bus-adjacent form factor. I'm not sure we have enough to power one of those. You'd have to get a Maddie to secure a large amount of it. We need liters of it at least. That'd be super cool. Didn't you say it was illegal though? Well, technically. But what Ned doesn't know won't hurt him. He'd lose his head if he knew half the things we were doing around here. I don't know. He seems fairly lenient with you, right? He wasn't always like that. A long time before you turned up, he nearly shut me down because... Would you believe it's because I sheltered a criminal? Ned nearly shut you down because of that? Am I thinking of the same criminal you are? Trust me, the irony was apparent. I found it very, very funny. What sort of criminal were they? Just a minor demon on the run. I don't know what she did to get a price on her head. I just took her in when she stumbled through the door, dripping blood everywhere. Huh, that's metal. It was extremely metal. How long did you manage to hide her for? Oh, not too long. Maybe 6 weeks? The time flew by, if I'm being honest. Why's that? Was she from the clock realm? No, nothing like that. We, bonded. Magically? How'd you do that? I thought I heard you telling Maddie that sort of thing was impossible between beings on this plane. No, not magically. We were, lovers. Ew! Yuck. Ew. Happier days. I love hearing about you when you were young and reckless. Gosh, what do you think I am now, huh? Old and boring? Definitely old. Despite myself, I must say definitely not boring. There's that patented Maddie charm. Well, you know me. I'm full of them. Oh yeah. Charms. Hexes. Curses. That's all on your account, old man. I won't deny it. Hey, Maddie? Hey dude, having trouble finding the kitchen? Yeah, I couldn't. I checked everywhere. It's just behind the bar, man. You can't miss it. I told you I checked everywhere. Nah, you're not catching my drift. It's just behind the bar. You can't miss it. Have another look. It'll be there this time. Sometimes you gotta remind the quantum hallways that they exist. Fine. How long are we gonna keep him here, Maddie? Oh, we're keeping him? No, we're not keeping him. I'm gonna let him stay as long as he wants. He'll leave on his own accord at some point. You feel sorry for him? Weirdly, yes. I don't usually get attached to customers, but he's a good dude. I like him. Do you like him because he's nice, or because he was good at passing your tools over? Yes. Don't get too attached. He's not going to be here forever. Well, duh, I know how it works. I'm going to enjoy having him around, just like you taught me. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Ashley, that's from the motivational calendar I threw out last week. I never said that. Same. I'm used to people moving on is the point. I can deal with it. Good. Day 2, 6:30 p.m., the terminal. Fuck. You gonna keep staring at the coffee stain, or nah? Yes. Okay, whatever. What do you want from this conversation? I'm an open book as far as matters of life and death are concerned. Yeah. I don't want to go. I know you probably heard this from, I don't know, 1,000 people or whatever. It's not about staying around for people or wanting to go back to my old life. As wonderful and not stressed out as that sounds. Like, I'm not afraid of what lies on the other side. I don't think there's any point to worrying about it until I'm there. I just don't think I've spent enough time here. The cafe? No. All this. I guess you call it this plane? Roughly speaking, I suppose so. I want to know what you did to be able to stay. Sure. Did Maddie give you those hours back? Yeah, why? Well, that's a way. You can just find enough hours to stay as a spirit, half here, half gone. But it's a wretched existence. I wouldn't want to live like that. How would you find the hours, though? There's only so many you can get from consenting beings, right? The crappy psychology gambling aside, you're right, yes. So, the question is, how do you do that? How do you create life from nothing? The answer to that is you can't, Keyshawn. It's impossible. There's always got to be some sort of balance maintained. Everyone who learns to manipulate the fundamental life forces understands that, no matter whether they're doing good or bad things with their skills. Here's the thing, though. You don't need both parties to agree. It's just a social nicety. Something that separates us from, well, people who don't do that. That's where the idea of vampires came from, for example. Those bastards. They're not special or anything. They're just dickheads. Anyway, if you can take the life force from people, you can also drain it from animals or plants. But in this business, there's a lot of we don't or can't understand. And one of the things we can't understand is why life force from animals and plants is tainted. It feels gross. If it didn't, everyone would take it. Consequences be damned. How were you feeling today before Maddie took those hours back? I felt like I was slipping away. Like my mind was really foggy. It was really hard to think or put sentences together. Nobody really noticed, though. Typical. Now imagine that, but 10 times worse. You're foggy, but there's also something fundamentally wrong. Like you're a collection of puzzle pieces that don't quite fit together. Like an engine that's running out of oil. That sounds horrifying, right? So, should I do it? Probably not. How would I stay otherwise? Well, you could always go on the lam, just run for it. But you'd catch me. Not me personally, but yes, the council would, eventually. And that's it? That's my only option? Perhaps. Depends on how you feel about bonding your soul for an eternity to a fundamentally neutral arbiter of justice. I have no strong feelings about it one way or the other. Smart arse. Would you regret it if you stayed here forever instead of moving on? I don't know. I guess that'd be up to me, right? How do you mean? In the end, how I feel about taking a big branch in my life is just another matter of how I frame it. I can focus on what I'll regret, sure, but it's not a useful way to spend my time. If I focus on the future, on everything that's in the possibility space, instead of outside of it, that's probably better for me, yeah? Sure. You don't sound convinced. I'm just ambivalent on it. I try not to think about anything too hard these days. But if you're willing to accept eternal bonds with the council, I can keep you here. It's not easy work, though. You have to act in the best interest of the system, not its individual parts. Bureaucracy at its finest. How did you learn to deal with it? Just took some time. And when you're used to it, you learn not to think too hard about what you're doing. As long as you take a holistic view of everything, things generally shake out all right. We tend to only bother the biggest rule breakers anyway. Maddie being one of them? Habitually. She wouldn't be getting so much leeway if it weren't for Shay. I don't understand that guy. He's nice, we've chatted a bit, but what makes him so special? He's provided services in the past. I can count on one hand the number of people who know much about the manipulation of life forces as he does. He's been researching it for over 100 years. No way, he's that old? He looks like 60, max. Yep, much older than that. Wild. We're getting sidetracked, though. How do you feel about joining the council? I don't hand out offers willy-nilly, you know. I'm interested, but can I have some time to think about it? How much time do you have? You've been out for nearly 25 hours. You're overdue. Put it on Maddie's tab. Huh. Okay. I assume you're not going to stick around forever. Unlikely. The next few hours are anything like how I felt this morning. I'll stick around until you have a solid answer then. Cool. Want to get a drink? Or want to get drunk? We're already drinking, mate. Nah, Shay told me about something pretty special he's got behind the bar. Unless it's something really special, he's probably offered me some. And even then, so you tried the bottled soul? You pulling my leg? Nope. You've gotta be mistaken. You haven't seen it in person, have you? Yeah, I actually have seen it. That's quite illegal. I expected better from him. Damn it. So, we gonna drink it or not? Council regulations require me to confiscate it or force the owner to dispose of it. We'd be doing him a favor then. I suppose. Come on, dude. Shay said it'd knock you flat. But when you say you, do you mean me, or you, or just anyone who drinks it? Anyone. It's like 200% alcohol or something. That's not technically possible, but I'll admit my interest is piqued. Well, let's not waste any time. Damn it. This was a setup, wasn't it? Basically. You in? Fine. Oh, this looks deadly. Good thing dead people can't get alcohol poisoning. Hey! To bureaucracy. To bureaucracy. I like how our background is coffee beans. Yo. The order's arrived. 3 days late, mate. It got held up by a mutual acquaintance of ours. Ah, shit. That explains why he's in my hair. I'll be there in half an hour. The catabasis is considered to be a vital part of the hero's narrative. Every hero goes to hell at some point, and in the stories they usually come back, which is the bit that seems weird to me. I don't think that's how it works in real life. The cafe has had a bunch of heroes come through, claiming that they were going to conquer hell and come back. They never returned as far as I can see. The idea of catabasis is that, in the grand scheme of things, hell, or the underworld, or Hades, or whatever you want to call it, anyway, it's on the outside of wherever we are. Like we're trapped inside this sphere, and we leave it to go to hell. Did the ancient Greeks ever consider that maybe we've been on the outside the whole time, just waiting to get in? Maybe they did. Matter of perspective. I guess I'll ask one sometime, if I ever meet one. But perhaps we're just waiting our entire lives for this, to pass through the firmament to the next place. To be driftwood that washes up on the shore of whatever the next place actually is. Seems weird, but maybe that's where we're naturally meant to be. I'm thinking it's possible that this world isn't some sort of proving ground or anything. Maybe it's just a waiting room. A beautiful, flawed, complex waiting room. Personally, I don't think that there's anything like heaven or hell waiting for us. No judgment either. The world doesn't ever operate in binaries or absolutes. That's just flawed human thinking, projected onto things that are much, much more complex than they can ever perceive. And I don't think what's waiting on the other side is even something that we can conceptualize. I bet it's cool. It's a shame that's a one-way trip, though. Philosophizing little robot. Ooh, there's a lot on this one. So we have Collingwood, two-person job, 1,000 people, foggy, semi-immortals, getting used to, hubris. I like the word hubris, so bowl of peas. Let's go with spirit juice. It's weird. Let's go bowl of peas too. I hope this unlocks in Australia, so I'll pick Collingwood. I like castles too. Magic. Lore. Melbourne. Terminal. Shay. Bowl of peas, food, and Ashley. Interesting. Whenever I think bowl of peas, I think that video of ducks eating peas. I don't know why, but it's just what I think of automatically. Okay. Can we walk forward? No. We're blocked off. Teen Transient. Billiards 3. We did do billiards 2, so I don't think we could do that one. Math 2. Funeral. I was gonna say, I thought this fire axe would be something. Maddie studied Gentleman of the Counter, so we don't have a guess for this one. About Beth. I don't think we could do it because I think we'll need a guess, but maybe not. I guess we can put it here since we have more than one. And oh, I can actually do this one. Real quick, I'm gonna go grab some headache medicine because my head is bothering me a little bit, but I will be back in 1 second. Wrong button. Okay. Hopefully that helps some. Probably pay for a little bit longer and then I'll be done for the night. And sorry if you hear that. That's one of my cats is going crazy. Going wild. She's got the zoomies. I've been thinking, said Keyshawn. Uh-oh, said Maddie. About the people I've left behind, said Keyshawn. Well, I'm not gonna see any of them again. One of them could be about to walk through that door, said Maddie. Don't taunt me with possibilities, said Keyshawn. You brought it up. Yeah, well. He slumped over in a funk. Death has a real finality to it, you know? Yeah, it does, said Maddie. That's death. The travel from life to death is a very one-way street for all but a few individuals. And if you're standing here, then it's a bit late for chest paddles. I guess I'm thinking more about the fact that I'm not going to see any of my old friends again. Not as long as they're alive, anyway. That does tend to be how death works, said Maddie. I hope you're not surprised. Not surprised, said Keyshawn. But also, I wouldn't have been surprised if this wasn't your case, or wasn't the case, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure on at least one occasion I've threatened people by saying, I will haunt you. And now that's never going to happen. Pity, said Maddie. You could have just been someone's grudge ghost film. Guess that one's confined to the annals of Japanese horror cinema. Hey, said Keyshawn. I was wondering, do you think there's any way for me to see what's going on at my funeral? Don't, said Maddie. All right, said Keyshawn. I just thought, it's kind of everyone's fantasy, right? To see what people have to say about them after they've passed? Wouldn't you want to see what was going on at your own funeral? I think it's none of your business what goes on at your funeral, said Maddie. Really? Said Keyshawn. I mean, I think it's pretty common for people to plan their own funerals. At least, if they go late enough that they can see it coming. There's another typo. I'd like to have my brother deliver eulogy. Don't let them play Barry Manilow songs. That sort of thing. Maddie blinked. Do you have a problem with Barry Manilow? No. I have no particular opinion on the man or his music, said Keyshawn. But a lot of people are old enough to be planning their own funerals, do. You can make your plans, but whatever unfolds at the funeral is up to those who attend it. Keyshawn blinked. What about the wishes of the dead? I thought you'd have a bit more sympathy for their interests, considering how often you interact with them. I care plenty about the dead, said Maddie. You were asking about funerals. Funerals are for the living, my friend. Keyshawn opened his mouth to respond, but cut himself short. I never thought about it that way. I'm not sure what to say. If you're short on words but high on energy, you can expend some of that energy by carrying this box upstairs, said Maddie, gently kicking a large cardboard box that was resting underneath the counter. There's an alcove next to the bookshelf that would make a good home for this box. Keyshawn picked up the box, grateful for something to do with his hands. It was heavy enough that he had to make sure to lift with his legs and not with his back, but not so heavy that he felt out of breath by the time he reached the top of the stairs. His breathing was heavy, but not labored. It was a good feeling. Keyshawn set the box down at the spot Maddie had designated and sat down for a moment, waiting for his heart rate to return to normal. It felt good to hear his heart beating inside his chest. This is how it feels to be alive, he thought to himself. Damn, I'm gonna miss it. So I don't think... Oh. Maybe. Aha, we do have enough for this one. Ashley's original ideas. Do not steal. Kitchen assistant. According to Maddie, the best way to chop hard ingredients like carrots or celery is to place the thing you are chopping near the point where the tip of the knife touches the board, since this gives you more leverage. I looked it up, and this is called a Class 2 lever, which gives you way more torque when cutting hard things. The mechanical advantage you get from it is a Class 2 lever can be increased by making the knife longer. That gave me the idea to make a knife that was 1 meter long. That would provide a much greater mechanical advantage than the knives Maddie uses, which were only 10 centimeters or 18 centimeters long. Maddie says that I'm not allowed to use any knives that are longer than 18 centimeters, and I said something about a weave katana, so that idea is a dead end. I didn't know what she meant by that, so I looked it up online and found some video of guys using really long blades to cut things like water bottles. Apparently, the key to cutting is force and speed. Since Manny doesn't want any blades longer than 18 centimeters, that means getting more force from leverage is out. But I could compensate for this by just making the blades really, really fast. I created Kitchen Assistant version 1 that uses a shorter knife, but it's affixed to a wheel that turns at 290 RPM, even with the blade attached. The first time I turned it on, the blade wasn't completely secured and it flew off and embedded in the ceiling. To make sure this wouldn't happen again, for version 2, I welded the blade onto the flywheel so that it won't come off. I think that Manny will be really pleased with the result because I only had to use a 10cm blade, which is much smaller than the original blade size that she had a problem with. Also, when choosing which knife to wield onto the flywheel, I picked the knife that Manny says is the best one. I think her personal bias will cause her to like my invention more because I built it using her favorite knife retriever. Kitchen Assistant version 2 was a big success, but my testing of Kitchen Assistant version 1 left a knife embedded in the ceiling, and I wasn't able to reach the knife by climbing on top of my stepladder. I could probably reach it if I placed my stepladder on the countertop, but Maddie says that's dangerous, so I wanted to find a to retrieve the knife without breaking that rule. I was thinking of making a giant magnet, but electromagnets require a lot of power, and the last time I tried to draw a lot of power from the outlet, it tripped the circuit breakers. And if you try taping circuit breakers in place so they don't trip, things get on fire and it's a lot harder to fix, especially since hiding that kind of thing from Maddie requires so much effort. Keeping the smell of smoke covered while replacing a breaker box is like doing 2 jobs at once, and that's 2 jobs more than I want to do on a Saturday afternoon. So, a magnet is probably out, especially because I'm not sure if the knife is made out of ferromagnetic metal. I don't know what Maddie's knives are made of, but if they're made of aluminum, then the magnet won't work. I might have to try the electromagnet thing if I can't think of a plan before Maddie notices. She probably wouldn't like it. The good news is that the knife is firmly embedded in the wood, and the compressive force on the knife is enough to prevent it from falling down due to gravity, unless a loud vibration caused it to fall down, so there's very low probability of the knife falling down and hurting someone. The only thing that could disturb it is if it got humid and the wood around the knife started to warp, and as the weather forecast said, we're not getting any rain for the next few days, so I should have plenty of time to get the knife down before it's at risk of falling. Just as long as Maddie doesn't look up when she's standing behind that part of the counter, everything will be fine. Visibility reducer. To prevent Maddie from looking up and seeing the knife on the ceiling, I created a device to dissuade her from looking up. If you put a really bright halogen lamp somewhere, it really makes people not want to look in that direction. So I figured that if the knife had a halogen lamp next to it, anytime Maddie thought of looking up at the ceiling, she would decide, no, I don't want to look up there because there's a bright halogen lamp that will probably blind me. I'll look down at the counter instead. Or maybe she will look up at the light and then she'll be so disoriented by how bright it is that she won't see the knife on the ceiling. The LED in my headlamp only goes up to 50 lumens, and it takes 500 lumens to disorient a person. The problem was that I couldn't figure out how to affix the halogen lamp to the ceiling. That was the same problem I had when retrieving the kitchen knife. It's too high up. Then I realized a simple solution. I could set the halogen lamp up to the ceiling by the same way I got the knife up there, by having the kitchen assistant V1 throw them. The halogen lamps aren't sharp enough to embed themselves in the wood, so I had to apply a layer of fast-drying adhesive, covered by another layer of wood glue. I figured the fast-drying adhesive will hold them long enough for the wood glue to dry, and that will keep them from falling down until I can figure out a way to get the knife down. My first attempt to use the kitchen assistant to throw the halogen lamp at the ceiling did not go so well, since it let go at the wrong time and instead flung the lamp into the wall. It took me almost 5 minutes to clean up all the big pieces. There were a lot of pieces I didn't have time to pick up, but they were small, so Maddie probably won't notice them, and if Shay notices them, he'll probably clean them up without saying anything. The second attempt, I got the kitchen assistant to throw at the ceiling, but its velocity was too high, and when the bolt hit the ceiling, it shattered instead of sticking. I tried lowering the RPM of the kitchen assistant, but after my 5th attempt, I realized I was out of halogen bulbs. I wonder if I can recycle the broken pieces for anything. Lamp bulbs seem like they would be very hard to reconstruct. I love Ashley. She's certainly a character. So what did I need on this one? I needed a Maddie and a dinner or a food. Okay. So we need to do Team Transient and then, because we can't do any of the other ones at the moment, I don't think. Yeah, looks like that's the last one we have left. A teenage boy approached the counter. Shoulders slumped forward, head down, eyes on the ground up until the moment he looked up to order a drink. He was old enough that he could have passed for a young adult with a better presentation, but the posture, coupled with the oversized backpack he was wearing, were a dead giveaway. Introspective of his age, he was still just a kid. Can I get a Coke? An order befitting of a kid. Yeah, I think we can manage that, said Maddie. Think fast, said Shay. Maddie turned around just in time to see an aluminum can hurtling toward her. She almost caught it. The can rolled off toward Shay, who scooped it off the floor. He hesitated a moment before setting it on the counter. No ice, right? Said Shay. The boy nodded. No. Or, yeah? Yes to no ice. Shay cracked open the can and poured it into a waiting glass, which he then slid down the counter, pushing it gently enough that it came to a rest in front of the teenage boy. The boy grabbed the glass. Thanks, he said. He glanced around the room. If you're looking for a place to sit, there should be plenty of seats upstairs. The boy nodded and headed for the stairs, drink in hand. Plenty of seats down here, too, said Maddie, turning to Shay. Yeah, said Shay. But I think upstairs is more Tuan's place. What'd you just call him? Tuan, said Shay. People have names, you know. That's the problem with having regulars, said Maddie. People expect you to remember their names. Though, now I probably think about it, Tuan probably wouldn't mind finding out if you don't know his name. Can't have your name on Maddie's shit list if she doesn't know it. Should he be on my shit list? Said Maddie. Nah, he's harmless, said Shay. Maybe a bit susceptible to peer pressure, but I think that's why he comes here. To meet with peers? To meet people who aren't his peers, said Shay. How many glum teenagers do you see around here? Too many, said Maddie. Maybe not enough, said Shay. Please tell me you don't actually mean that, said Maddie. Teenagers have the highest noise to spending ratio of any demographic. Not the glum ones, said Shay. And if I were a glum teenager, trying to find my trying to find my place in the world and trying to carve out an identity for myself, I could imagine a worse place than to do it right here. Get a drink. Teenagers can go be glum somewhere else, said Maddie. Whatever happened to proper teenage delinquency? Be careful what you wish for, said Shay. We've been mercifully delinquent-free for quite a while now. Proper teen delinquents don't loiter in coffee shops, said Maddie. They set things on fire, spray paint alleyways, and stay out past curfew. Does the city have a curfew for minors? It should, said Maddie. Teens need to be able to break rules, and all the better if committing acts of vandalism at 11 p.m. gives them a 2-for-1. Maybe they should just avoid delinquency and stick to general mischief, said Shay. Oh no, said Maddie. We already have plenty of mischief around here, ever since Ashley set up shop. Got it, said Shay. Next time I see Tuan, I'll tell him he needs to be committing more crimes. What do you do if he actually takes your advice? He won't, said Shay. Peer pressure only works if it's from a peer. Someone of my age telling him it would be cool if he starts swiping liquor won't do much to assure him that becoming a thief is a ticket to popularity and acceptance. So find another teenager to tell him. I'll keep my eye out, said Shay. Maddie, you aren't very responsible, huh? Let's see. We have enough for Ashley's journal. I think maybe we can get that food. I wanted to see this one, though. No, we don't have a Ned or a Death. Oh, we can do this one. Crucible product reviews. Spirit-resistant quartz crucibles with self-sealing lids. Product description. Heat-resistant up to 1,650 degrees Celsius. Self-sealing lids from airtight seals around crucible's ground rim. Highly resistant to corruption and spiritual interference. Clear inner and outer covering allow for easy spotting of cracks or imperfections. Quality suitable for mixing potions and filters. Average rating, 3.5 stars out of 5. Product reviews, 5 out of 5. I love this. The covering, despite being quartz, has a textured appearance that gives a silky smooth feel to it. Most crucibles feel stale and cold, but this one makes the perfect beverage container while entertaining guests. 4 out of 5. The previous crucible set I used was inherited from my grandmother, who brought them over from New England. Unfortunately, 2 months at sea were not kind to her spiritware, and her crucibles were filled with tiny cracks and microfractures that allowed unsightly-looking soot to build up, leaving them stained with hard gray lines everywhere, looking like they were about to crack apart at any moment. She used them for several decades to come, but every time I worked with her and watched them heat up, I was afraid they were constantly on the verge of shattering. One she used to contain a lost wayward spirit for several days before finding a home for it, and I would get up at night to check the embers under the crucible, and it always unsettled me seeing how fragile the container was. Several times I found myself tempted to tip the crucible over, just to see how easily it would shatter under my soft touch. Needless to say, this new set is much nicer. They are sterile, and I can keep several of them in my bedroom without feeling unsettled by their presence. 2 of the crucibles in my set arrived with small chips in them, but I contacted the manufacturer and they replaced them at no charge. Replacements were express shipped and the process was quick and painless, so great customer service, and they offer replacements up to 1 year. For the price, they can't be beat. 4 out of 5. Home mine for 2 weeks and it didn't crack. Decent for the price. 5 out of 5. Received mine in the mail this morning and can't wait to try it out. So glad to have finally found someone selling crucibles at a reasonable price. A brand name costs over $200, which is just outrageous. 1 out of 5. Bought this several weeks ago since it was the cheapest crucible on the site advertised as spirit resistant. I'm working on a filter for my graduate thesis and purchased 100 of these for lab use. My plan was to monitor 100 different animal spirits over with different types of plant matter and compare how different biomaterials affected their vigor over a 90-day period. The first day, I set the first 5 with samples of mugroot, feverfew, ginger, ginseng, and golden seal. I placed them in the crucibles over low heat, 80 Celsius, and left them overnight, and the next 2 days did the same with all the remaining crucibles, finishing on a Friday and leaving the lab alone for the weekend. When I arrived back on Monday, I knew something was wrong when I noticed a rain cloud hovering over the door. It's not uncommon for rain clouds to appear any time of the year, any time of the day in our part of the country, but it's quite another to find a rain cloud localized entirely within a hallway of your research lab. I braced for the worst, but I guess I should have braced harder. Nothing could have prepared me for the smell when I opened the door. I immediately felt my eyes watering and actually found myself choking. It smelled so bad. I slammed the door shut and went to the basement to grab one of the emergency respirators we keep down there. Unfortunately, the respirator did little to mask the terrible stench inside of the lab. I opened the first crucible and saw that it was filled with a tar-like substance, and as I studied its inky black, writhing form, I felt the air sucked out of me, almost like it was trying to drive me into the abyss with it. I threw it onto the floor and the container shattered, splattering the floor with tar-like substance which began slowly crawling across the room. I grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and sprayed the tar until it was completely covered, and heard what sounded like a sputtering noise, followed by a long gasp and a scream that faded into oblivion. After poking at the fire extinguisher spray, whatever was underneath it clearly quenched. I took the remaining crucibles and placed them in the oven, and baked them at the temperature of 1600 degrees for several hours as I sat alone in the lab, contemplating the cruelty of existence and wondering what my academic advisor would have to say about my thesis project. After several hours of waiting, I opened the oven and checked the contents of the crucibles, revealing nothing but ash. Whatever it was that had been drawn to the spiritual mission of my lab work, it was gone from my world, but the memory of that day will haunt me for all the remaining days of my life. 1 out of 5. Do not buy this crucible for spirit-related applications. My wife is one of the product designers who worked on this item. The crucible in this listing comes from a manufacturer called Mars Security LLC. Back in 2013, they were some of the best hardware you could get for your money and earned a reputation among hobbyists as great value for anyone working on a budget. In 2016, they did a survey and found that fewer of 3% buyers were actually using the crucibles for spirit-related applications, and decided they could cut costs by removing the spirit-resistant properties. However, they found that the products advertised with updated ad copy to reflect that didn't sell as well, so they continued using the old product description, which advertises it as spirit-resistant. For the new product line, which is not spirit-resistant, I don't know how they are getting away with this. Apparently definitions of what actually spirit-resistant are legally murky, and the number of people affected is small enough that they continue to sell well. Stay far, far away from this one, and warn anyone you know who might buy an item like this that it does not work as advertised. 5 out of 5. Nice color. I had to look at it, it's just a coffee machine. I guess that's the crucible. Interesting. Okay, so we need a Melbourne, I guess, not just Australia. I think I'll do this chapter, and then I will be finished for the night. But let's go ahead and enjoy this one and see what will happen next. Because the plot is heating up, so I don't want to quit just yet. Day 2, 8:15 p.m. outside the terminal. Gah. I don't have the energy for this. Especially with everyone watching me. I hope he packed enough conductors. My order form was pretty vague. I shouldn't be worrying about the conductors. Well, I'm not even sure I can pull the whole thing off without some sort of major screw-up happening. Supplier knew what I wanted the conductors for anyway, so he would have packed enough. And he knew that I've got Ashley helping me. Helping you with what, Madeline? Piss off, Ned. Rude. You should respect your elders, you know. God, listen to you. The council made you soft, didn't it? Oh, respect your elders. Follow all our totally arbitrary rules, or we'll make up some cheap reason to destroy your business. My name's Ned, and I love rules. You done? Yep. Cool. You sound wounded. You should be nicer. Wow, sick comeback. What was it that guy you killed said? Oh Christ, I'm shot. Oh no, woe's me. Just a little throwback humor for you. Did I strike a nerve? Did I just what? Maddie. When Ned spoke next, it was in a deep, dark cadence, steeped in guilt and self-loathing. If Maddie had been able to see his eyes, she would have found a withering glare. We were rapidly reaching a point of no return. I can no longer promise to shield you from the consequences of your actions. What you just did there, pointing one of my victims' dying words at me, that was low. Even for you. Frankly, I'm disgusted. You dare to poke at my guilt? Do you dare? Let's talk about guilt, shall we? I don't suppose you might have anything weighing your conscience right now, would you? As I thought. They may still weigh heavily on me, but I am absolved of my sins. I have had 100 years to process that, and to redeem myself through my actions. You? Your sins are fresh. They're lance marks on your soul, deep cuts in your aura. Swallow your arrogance, novice. I know what you did, and I can't wait to see how you plan to make this right. You know, I don't necessarily agree with that character that doing good deeds can absolve you of the bad things you've done, but apparently he thinks so, Episode 5, Rainy Moods. Day 2, 8:30 p.m., the terminal. I am interested in seeing what Maddie did, though, if this man is comparing it to murder. I guess he's not really a man, he's a spirit man. Tuan. Age, 16. Thinks he's smart. Not antisocial, just shy. Read a bunch of Wikipedia articles on optometry and considers himself somewhat of an expert. Hannah. Age, 16. Knows she's too smart for her own good. Hobbies, people watching. Self-indulgent teenage angst. Taking advantage of the fact that she's too smart for her own good. So I'm not sure that alcohol actually makes you feel anything. In fact, going by its chemical properties, I'd say it's the opposite. Shut up, dork. We're planning a heist. Metaphysical debates about alcohol can come after. But isn't this metaphysics? I'm just talking about simple chemical interactions with our throats. Please take the energy you're putting into pedantry and redirect it towards the plan. The plan? The plan? Well, what's the plan? I was thinking I could just reach over the bar and grab the first bottle I see. Sounds risky. Very chaotic neutral. And what's your alignment then? Can I hover over it? Oh. So... I don't know if the game's gonna give us, and I don't want to click off before I go, so... Usually it's listed by good, neutral, and evil, right? Or is neutral at the top? I don't know. Neutral good? Uh-huh. I'd say I was lawful neutral, but that's the coward's option. Yeah. But getting back to the plan... Oh. Using your own pedantry to distract you is actually... What? Using your own pedantry to distract you is absolutely part of the plan. Wow, so little faith in me. Gotta minimize liabilities here. You're out here playing checkers while I'm playing six-dimensional upside-down laser chess. Shit. I've galaxy brained this, and now I'm holding the fruits of my labor. Don't you mean our labor? If you insist. Give me a closer look at that. What sort of fruit did we pluck from the booze tree? Oh, excuse me. Really stretching that metaphor out, huh? Yep. I don't recognize the language on this label. What? Let me look. What the hell? I don't recognize it either. Maybe it's a cipher. Who'd make you read a cipher? Who'd make you read a cipher just to know what you're drinking? A sadist. Oh, we could ask Maddie what it is. She's a sadist, right? Yeah, that idea sounds great. Well, let's go find her. Apart from the fact we specifically nicked it from her. Oh, right. You're meant to be the lawful one here, dude. We agreed on neutral good. Me not challenging your assertion does not make it agreement. Regardless. Wait, hold on. I sense a dark presence. Do you feel it? No, I don't feel anything particularly spooky in the air. Yeah, me neither. Hello, children. I see you've stooped to petty thievery. Alas, sprung. Can't believe my heist career is over so quickly. Oh, don't give up your dreams, kid. Speaking of, do you know what happens when you drink this? I was assuming some sort of drunkenness. Does it make your teeth fall out? Well, last time I had a shot of this, I woke up in Adelaide. Wow. So the result was 700 kilometers worth of drunkenness and bad decisions. But I woke up 6 hours before I took the shot. Had to drive a rent-a-car back and explain to Shay why I disappeared without a trace and somehow accidentally time-traveled. Holy shit, can we give it a try? Huh. God, no. God, no. You ever heard of liquor licensing laws? I'd end up in jail. I think it'd be an excellent formative experience. Yeah, if you're not perpetuating teen drinking culture, you're a loser. Somehow, I remained unconvinced by your passionate arguments. Well, we tried. You kids have way too much time on your hands, you know that? Better than not having enough, right? I'm using my skills. I'm using my time to practice my skills. It's not wasted. Well, the non-existent industry sector that relies solely on the skill of reaching over bars and stealing bottles of enchanted booze is gonna be lucky to have you. Aw, that's so validating. Thanks. Can I get you two a coffee or anything? Hot chocolate? I'm kind of busy tonight, but I'm hoping that bribing you with free drinks will stop you from wrecking my shit. Or nicking my shit, excuse me. I'll take a free drink. I feel guilty taking one since it's all Tuan's idea. Hey, but I'll graciously accept your offer. Neat. What'll be? Hot chocolate? For both of us? Hot chocolate for both of us. Ah, they're both cute. Alrighty, 2 hot chocolates coming up. Seriously, don't steal anything else when my back is turned or I'll feed you to a spite elemental. I wonder. Spite elemental. Maybe it's a metaphor. Is she saying that she'll eat us? Is she the spite elemental? Oh no. Maybe the real spite elementals were the friends we made along the way? I hate this. Fair. Oh? Oh, whoa. Me when I'm gay and see cute girl. Unga. Samantha. Age 32. American? Visiting Melbourne for work. Devastatingly patient. Trust me, you kids don't want to be a spy elemental. Have you? Yep. Got pretty close to not making out alive. I guess you're in a fairly exciting line of work then. It gets that way sometimes. But spy elementals aren't exciting. They're terrifying. They suck all the air out of the room and make the world ache. And they don't die easily. Huh. That's kind of metal. You sure do need brass balls to face one down, that's for sure. And a steely gaze? What? 'Cause steel is a metal, and I said it was metal, and then you mentioned brass balls, so... Hannah, please back me up. Nope, you brought this on yourself, mate. No. No, she's totally right. Ugh. What's going on here? You bullying my customers, Samantha? Of course not. Good, because that's my job. You two should go enjoy the evening. There's a nice breeze blowing. You remember my name. That's sweet. Of course I did. You're interesting. Doesn't that describe everyone who walks through your doors, though? Absolutely not. Especially not in the way that you are. Some people would take offense to that. Your boss. He must be very different to mine. Well, my old boss, I guess. I'm my own boss now, actually. Apologies. Your approach to hospitality work is very different from what I'm used to. Is what I'm trying to say. Figures. Where'd you work? Just some dive bar overseas. A wretched hive of scum and villainy. The owner would never shut up about treating every client like royalty. Sounds like a pain in the arse if you ask me. I'm not asking, actually, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. So, can I get you anything? Surprise me. You'd like me to pick you something? Yeah. Mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Are they related to the drink? Yep. Shoot. Okay. What's your favorite white wine? You're not making me a wine cocktail, are you? Huh, no. I'm partial to a glass of Marcian every now and then. Fancy. Next question. Have you ever read a star chart? Like in astrology? No. Why? I don't put any stock in mysticism. Hey, this place isn't mystical. It's built on cold, hard facts. I just don't know them all yet. Alright. Fair enough. Let's question. You're walking in the shallows of an ocean that seems to go into the distance forever. You can't see any land aside from the sand under your feet. Whenever you step forward, the sand sinks, just a little bit. As far as you can see, there's no way to escape. Drowning is the only possible outcome. What do you do? Wow, I feel like you're about to pull out a Voight-Kampf machine or something. It's obviously some sort of test. I run, I swim, I dive when I can. And if I eventually drown, so be it. There's nowhere else to go, and no point to sitting and waiting for starvation or sharks or someone to save me. I have to take action. Interesting. So, what's the verdict? Samantha didn't get a response. Maddie's eyes had glazed over as soon as she'd answered the last question, and now she stood perfectly still, gazing intensely at the rows and rows of dusty bottles lining dustier shelves. Her lips moved, but no words came out. As Samantha watched, a flask of red liquid twitched, seemingly of its own accord. Maddie craned her neck up at it and scowled. In response, a smaller bottle, next to the first, and surely only big enough to hold a few drops of something, began to glow. Her scowl shifted to a wry smile. Please, you don't need to open anything new on my account. Gotcha. Your answers were interesting. So were your questions. I'm still having a little trouble figuring out how they relate to each other, though. Is that important? I try to maintain a vague hope that maybe one day things might make sense. And until then, I just try to go with the flow, of course. Sorry for trying to psychoanalyze you there. Try? Do you think you failed? No. What's the verdict, then? Well, for one thing, you tend to accept things as you see them. You don't try to interpret things based off of unrelated frameworks or thought patterns. That said, you do try to make sense of the connections between things when you can. But it's no big deal to you if you don't. You just mark it as an unknown variable and move on. And that just reads to me as an intensely pragmatic approach. Would you agree? I suppose. You're the sort who doesn't buy drinks to enjoy them. You buy them as camouflage. To hide your face behind. To project a veneer of being untouchable but you watch. To watch what? Everything, I suppose. You take everything in the same way I do. So you're saying that I'm attentive, but that I worry about instantly understanding how things are interconnected? Because you're confident that eventually you'll understand it anyway. How do you figure that? You've been watching my hands this whole time. Is that weird? To watch an attractive bartender mixing a very fancy-looking cocktail? To appreciate a craft? No, but given just how interested you are in what my hands are doing, I wager that you got some experience in my field. So, are you really bad at picking up when you're being flirted with, or... It's fine, sweetie. In fact, it's pretty cute. I'm in alchemy. The field of alchemy. I'm sure you're very accomplished in alchemy. Just take the drink. Shit, this is really good. Yeah? Too good to ignore, yeah. It's smoky, but bittersweet, and almost makes me feel like I'm reaching the end of something. Like I've got a lump in my throat from saying goodbye. But I can't quite tap into that feeling. Like, what did you even put in this? Mezcal, artichoke bitters, gold heart bitters, and a slice of gorilla lime. Gorilla lime? That can't be a real thing. It's just hard to acquire. Called that because if you bite into one, it feels like you got punched by a gorilla. Physically? No, emotionally. Makes sense. I am not a wizard. Prove it. Arr! That guy the boss you mentioned? Yep. He good to you? I'm sorry? Does he treat you well? Yeah? To a fault, actually, for it's past the point where it's rational for him to still be nice to me. Good. Actually, I'm sorry, that reminds me, I have to dash. Got some setup for... Got some setup work for a project to finish before the sun comes up. But without you here, who will enable my latent alcoholism? You can just reach over the bar and grab the gin. Tonic's in the bar fridge. Will do. Come back soon, though. I'd love to discuss alchemy with you some more. Uh-huh. Catch you later. Wait, one last thing. What was the meaning behind the question about what wine I like? Oh, I was just curious. That's the last one, I reckon. Does it have the magic caps on it? I think so. You can just call them caps, you know. They're built for something different. I refuse to use non-specific language. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're in here. Okay, what about the, thing? You'll have to be a little more... Oh, you know, the thing. Sparky thing. Electric. Sweetie, how long have you been awake? It is better for you if you don't know, I think. Do you mean the voltage regulator? That's the one. Good job. It's in one of the other boxes. I didn't think that we needed another one, though. Are you kidding? The last one literally melted. It's a good thing I have an extremely sick metal arm, otherwise I would have been badly injured. Yeah, thank goodness. Is there anything missing? I shall check. Need some espresso? I think I will literally die if I have any more. Hey, that's really mature of you. Nice job. Yeah, whatever. You can get me some chocolate if you want. Sure thing. Be back in a moment. Oh, hey dude, where you been? Hey, just chilling. Not much to do when you're waiting to die. Hey! Come on, Cooper, I know you're hiding down there somewhere. Hold this, will ya? Did Ned really say that? Yeah. Do you believe it? I'm not sure. Well, it's not a lie. But it's not the whole truth either. And I don't quite have time to untangle it for you. I've got a hungry teenager downstairs and a summoning ritual to complete. She's part of that too? Don't you take that judgy tone with me. Hey, far be it from me to moralize at you. Getting a lot of that these days, mate. I'm just trying to keep everyone happy. Tough gig. I'll say. Alright, now if you can solder these two wires... No, not those ones! Bloody hell. Who programmed you? Bet she's a jerk. Incredibly intelligent, but a very bad programmer. You're talking about yourself, right? Ah! Wow. You're really out of it, huh? Where'd you even pull this from? Leg holster? You aren't wearing a leg holster. Arm holster. Your prosthetic? It holds 6 million knives. Don't question me on this. I'm the expert here. Mm-hmm. Hey, need a hand? Dude, you should check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself. No, that's not what I meant. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can help. Before I ask what you need, what are you even doing? Maddie mentioned a summoning circle? Something like that. You ever wanted to live forever? I'd trade that for having a second chance, honestly. Well, grab me that box, please. You can't just leave that hanging like that. Watch me. And while you watch me leave you hanging, you can get the box. Thank you. Yeah, so, this is really heavy. What's even in here? 100 meters of heavy gauge copper cable, a bunch of capacitors that I'm going to wire together soon, and some various bits and bobs. That would definitely explain the weight. Oh, there's also a bunch of clamps. So, what do you need? Validation. Chocolate. Coffee. A school system that doesn't punish me for having weird and niche interests. I meant more, communism. I don't think I can get you communism. Sorry. And does it matter already getting you chocolate? You're a terrible comrade, Keyshawn. If I wasn't close to hitting the LD 50 of caffeine, I'd ask you for some coffee. So, all you can do right now is give me that sweet validation. Okay. You're real? Thumbs up? Good human. I don't know what sort of validation you want here. I feel like I'm stuck in a loop of trying things that are inevitably going to fail, and I don't know how much of it is my fault for not being good enough at a monumentally difficult task. I'm used to being effortlessly good at things, but I feel like my brain is full of bees on this one. And can I deal with failure? I don't think I can. I'm not equipped for failure. My entire perception of myself is that I'm good at things. I'm gifted and talented and incredibly afraid that I'm going to let people down at a vital moment. This is that vital moment. But I just sit here, paralyzed. And I rationally know that a lot of this pressure is just me being hard on myself. But Maddie and I, we tried this already, and we failed pretty badly. It was a disaster. I can't understate how badly it turned out. So even with all the prep I'm doing, is this enough? Did we learn enough to do it properly? Numbers and formulas and hard science are good, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm going to screw it up for everyone. And I'm so afraid of letting Maddie down. That's heavy shit, mate. You reckon? Fully, yeah. I don't know what to say to that except that I don't think Maddie would ever feel let down by you. I know I've only been here for like 2 days, but her and Shay seem to really care about you. And I'm sure that extends to accepting you for who you are, limitations and all. Though honestly, I think you give up a pretty strong vibe of not giving a shit about your limitations. Or that you indiscriminately power through them with some sort of raw, caffeine-fueled fury. Anyway, you're immensely powerful, and I'm terrified of you. Fair enough. I was never really super smart or gifted or anything. I just floated through school and work and never focused on much except having a good time. I can definitely imagine that sort of pressure you'd have on you, though, especially given how big this task is. Yeah. So while I can't say for sure that this thing is going to be easy or even successful, I do think it's important that you work on giving yourself a break from the weight of your own expectations. But it's not an easy thing, I'm sure. But my boyfriend is similar. He's very hard on himself when he feels like he's letting himself down. So, it doesn't go away? I don't think so. But I think it just gets easier to deal with as you learn to be more empathetic to yourself. Self-forgiveness and all that. It definitely took him a good few years to even begin to able dealing with his self-imposed shame. I guess I can try that. You can try that. Or you can continue feeling super bad about yourself all the time. I mean, when you put it like that. Right? I hate how rational you sound. I know. I'm disgusted at myself. Sup, nerds? What's going on in this thread? What? You're suddenly in a good mood? I maybe ate some of your chocolate. Oh, I swear to God, if there isn't any left. Yes, we've been over this before. You'll completely murderize me. Don't worry. I only ate a little bit. Excellent. Is this enchanted chocolate or just normal chocolate? Does he deserve to know? I don't know. I kind of like the mystery. It's completely normal chocolate, isn't it? Maybe. Maybe not. Can I have some then? Come on, you owe me. For what? Helping you set up all this. Oh yeah, that's fair. This is totally normal chocolate. Yeah. Did you expect it to not be that? Well, you implied. We never implied. You came up with that one all on your own. Damn it. Alright, I'm bored. Later, dorks. Don't you run off on me, miss. This Magic Cat Bank isn't even half done. I'll do it later. For now, I'm gonna take a nap under that table. If anyone disturbs me... Come on. You'll be happy? Confused? Ticklish? Extra hungry. I will mention me in your diary. I will exact terrible revenge on both of you later. Geez, that phrase definitely doesn't start with an M. Ah! Bye! There she goes. I'm not being too hard on her, am I? You? Nah, she thinks you're great. Good. I could probably stand to give her a break, though. I mean, I'm expecting a lot from her right now. She does seem a little overloaded. Fuck. But she'd tell me if things were too much, right? I don't know. It seems like she idolizes you. I reckon she'd pretty happily burn herself out for you, you know? I just need her for the next 4 or 5 hours. Then everything will be okay. Is that what you're planning on performing the ritual? This thing? Yeah. What's it for, anyways? Conduit ritual. Super forbidden magic. Oh, cool. Are you actually cool with this, or... Not hugely, actually. Why's that? Well, you know I was talking to Ned earlier, and... Actually, don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't care. What's it do? You know how I took a couple of hours from you down here? Vividly? This is just like a bigger scale version of that spell. Higher capacity. Who are you taking hours from? Nobody. Don't worry, bud. You're added to fish it already. I can't touch you. Right, okay. So even if you're lying right now, shouldn't you have taken enough to pay off your debt multiple times at this point? The hours weren't for that. What the hell did you do with them then? Where'd they go? For our research, we used the following materials. Wire of copper, heavily drawn. Jasmine chalk, not Dover. Sustained electric supply of at least 22 volts. Car battery? Capacitor is composed of need better durability. However, we believe the extra components are required. Our conduit's properties varied with the layout of our summoning circle, and despite the departure of our test subject during our trials, we were able to discern a number of efficiency-oriented refinements, as well as the absolute necessity of a living but non-sentient vessel to act as a so-called storage container. More testing is required, though obtaining a willing subject for future methodology evaluations without attracting the attention of the Council will be difficult, to say the least. I stored them. All those hours are in this tree. I miss eating. Why? What was your diet like? I remember. Sushi. Sushi? I thought you said you were a crab. What? You think crabs aren't dexterous enough to make sushi? Unquestionably, yes. What is this, sushi? It's delicious, is what it is. Rice and fish and seaweed. Humans eat it. And crabs. I just don't know where a crab would find rice, or a way to make good sushi. I also ate garbage. Yes, I also ate garbage on occasion. Unbelievable, you two. Unbelievable. Garbage is good for the soul. Garbage is garbage. It's in the name. What did you eat when you were alive then? Grass. Just normal grass. Boring. And tree roots sometimes. There are tree roots here, yes? Yeah, there are. Why don't you chomp on them? Well, I'm not hungry. We don't eat. And also, more importantly, they are powerfully magical. Maddie needs them. If we damage things that Maddie needs, then Ashley will be disappointed in us. A suboptimal state of affairs. I can feel the power in them too. However, I do not feel compelled to chomp on them. What a strange thought. Love to chomp. Chomp sushi. Chomp sandwiches. Chomp garbage. You're so weird. Ooh, not a lot. Sadist. There's another one I really... Self-forgiveness. Murder eyes. Maddie. Death. Maddie. Guests. War. Maddie. And food. Got a lot of Maddies that time. Okay, with that, I think we're gonna call it for today. Okay, I guess we're just saved automatically. So we are going to just go ahead and quit. Yes. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I apologize for all the technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. Thank you again to Ohio for helping me fix them. The schedule is shortened and the screen doesn't fit right now because I had to do this really quick. But tomorrow I will be playing Minish Cap at 2 p.m. And I will be playing Minish Cap on Friday as well, also at 2 p.m. And then on Thursday I will be doing more Arcade Spirits at 3 p.m. all Eastern Standard Time. So thank you once again, and I hope you all have a nice evening. Bye!